Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be doing a cluster light swap on my 2005 F250. Just the lights are old, they're all burnt out, so I got some new LED ones off Amazon. So I'm going to get the truck pulled in here now, and we're going to get started on this install. So I'm just going to get the truck pulled in real quick, and then I'll get started on that install. So after pulling my truck in, I just realized that I still had my mic attached, so I'm just calling it now. That audio is going to be junk, so I'll probably end up putting music over it, just pulling it in the shop. But anyways, besides that, I'll get started on pulling this dash apart, and that's the first step in this install. Is gotta take the bezel off. There's 4 bolts that hold the cluster in, and then take the cluster out with 2 little pins that read all that data. So you take those pins out, and then you have access to the whole cluster. So I'll get that out for you guys and record myself doing it. All right, so what we'll be doing here as far as to get ready to pull the bezel off, we're gonna move the gear selector all the way down to the first position, all the way down to first gear, I mean, and we're also gonna move the steering wheel as low as it can go so we can really pull this bezel as far back as it can. And I'll hang it from over here. There we go. Yep, perfect. All right, so now, to my understanding, you're gonna just run your hands along here on the bezel and you're gonna pull. Kind of hard to do with a broken pinky. And I'll be honest, I might go get a little pry bar. Yeah, so I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go get a little pry bar and see if I can put just a little rubber end on it so I don't mess up the plastic. All right, so I'm back with that little pry bar. Got a little rubber glove to see if that'll make a difference. And then wrap that around a little bit. And it seemed to be popping from this side. And you know what? Rubber isn't gonna do anything because it's causes it to be too big. So there we go. It's got it wedged up under there. So using the pry bar, I'm able to get my fingers in there. Start pulling the dash right out. Look at that. They make it nice and simple. It's probably the best things Ford's ever done. Besides this over here. All right, so and you know, nothing can really go simple for me, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to pull this radio out because it is totally in the way of getting to this cluster. All right, so I may have figured it out. The gimbal, no, I have not figured that out yet, but there's little mounting screws on either side of this thing, so I'm just taking those off and seeing if this screen will drop down, and then I'll get back to you guys once I do that. These things are super small, so I'm trying to be careful not to lose them. All right, so that was number 4 of 4. So here's a moment of truth. See if this thing pops off or slides down. And it slid down. So that should do the trick, I'm hoping. I mean, either way, it still doesn't fit in there, so I'm not entirely sure. And we'll figure that out fairly soon. There's some more screws, so I'm wondering if that'll change, if it can. I don't know. I have no clue, to be honest, but let's find out. Take the pry bar, this bottom corner. My fingers up in there. Start popping. Nope. So that's not gonna work. I'm gonna see if I can drop this thing down. Turns out that's not the right thing. That just adjusts the way it tilts. Does it? I'm not sure. Yep, so I was right. That just affects the way it tilts. So I'm gonna stop the video. Probably scream my head off a little bit, but I'm gonna stop the video until I figure out how to get this thing dropped so I can get this bezel pulled off. All right, so I think I figured out what's gonna actually get me by for now until I actually learn how to get this stupid radio out. I just lowered it down from its original position, and I think it gives me just enough space to where I can pull out the cluster. So I believe the right size socket is a 7/32, so I'm gonna go grab that, a small ratchet wrench, and a just regular extension. There's 4 on each corner of the cluster, and I'll move you guys over so you can see a little bit better. So for some reason that gimbal is massive, so I can't fit it anywhere, so I'm going to try and show you guys just holding. So moving down here, you're going to see right there is one 7/32, and down there on that corner is going to be another. You have another one right there, and you have another one down there. So I'm about halfway done here. Keep in mind when ordering these off Amazon, they only come in boxes of 9, but you're gonna need 14. So I ordered 2 boxes. I'm gonna have a little bit extra, but it's whatever. So like I said, I'm just about halfway done, just putting these in. I'll show you guys the process of putting one of them in. You just get that focus. So you see those 2 little tabs, you're gonna line those up like that. A little, as much turn as you can with your hands. Grab your channel locks real gently. Make sure it's in there first. Real gently. Turn until it doesn't turn anymore. Alright, so out with the old, in with the new. Gonna go try to reinstall this thing. Hopefully it goes better than it did earlier. Yo, what's going on YouTube? I'm back, day 2 of this install, and so last night I ended up getting all the cluster lights installed. I did, like I previously said, I broke the radio in the process. Turns out it was just a little mounting bracket, so overnight I JB welded that back together. So I'm in the process of putting them back together. I just left practice, so I also just got here to the shop, so I'm going to take the truck inside, finish putting the radio back together, and before I do that I'll show you guys the cluster. So here's it all lit up. That's on the dim setting because it is very bright, so that's it with it turned up. It is quite bright, so I just dim it down to match the rest of the controls around here. You'll see it says I'm getting 5 miles to the gallon. That's because I ended up killing my batteries last night. Just turning on the truck, turning it off without actually turning over the truck. I just killed the battery from all the running things, and it was a hassle, but I got it done, so I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna get this radio back on, and I'll show you guys the final result. So here's my radio face down. This is the mounting bracket, so it's kind of hard to film what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna get it all put back together, and I will show you guys the final result of it finally back in. And here it is. This is the final setup. You got the bright green lights, and the radio is back installed. Let's get rid of all these fingerprints, and besides all that, I'll get everything cleaned up, and that'll be the end of this video. Again, thank you guys for watching today. I know it was an absolute struggle, and I made it harder than it seems, but I'll eventually redo it since I now know what to do a lot better than I did before as far as removing this radio and getting everything else installed. My park, reverse, neutral drive, that section of my cluster, the lights still aren't working, so that's why I'm going to eventually take it back apart. But for now, I'm just going to leave it. I've done enough the past 2 days, so I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to check out my past 2 videos, and I'm going to keep trying to be consistent and definitely keep going. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. So before I finish up this video, I'm actually adding this little snippet into the last bit. This is just a nighttime view of what my truck looks like from the inside. So you have my Apple CarPlay head unit. That's what the electronic thermostat looks like. Got my auxiliary switches for my rock lights. And so that's what the dash looks like, all lit up with the new LEDs. I'll turn up the brightness. See, it makes it brighter than it needs to be. This is with the brightness all the way turned down, and it's brighter than it was before. There's all my glow shift gauges, and then there is my SCT X4. And so, like I said, this is what it looks like at night, and I'll take you guys out to show you my rock lights. And so this is 37 rock lights all lit up. I'll take you guys for a full walk around. 3 in each wheel well, a bunch along the frame rails, 4 on the back here, actually 6 on the back here. And so really just going for that no shadow look. Wish I had my gimbal with me, gave you guys a smooth video. I'll do that another time, but here's the full walk around. And yeah, got 3 up there in the front, and that is my truck at night with the rock lights. Headlights aren't on, those are just the running lights, but yeah, that's it.